Good evening to our fellow leaders of RIWAY International. First, let me welcome each and every one of you to our first quarter live leadership leaders training seminar of 2021, 6 Principles of an Outstanding Leader. I am James Chong, General Manager of RIWAY Philippines, and I am also the conductor for tonight's training seminar. In 2015, this series of training seminar, 6 Principles of an Outstanding Leader, was held in 6 different locations, of which were Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Kota Kinabalu, Taipei, Singapore, and Manila. I remember attending this series of training seminar 5 years ago because it has had a huge impact on me and shaped me to become a better person, a better leader than I was 5 years ago. The RIWAY 5 years ago as compared to now has changed and grown vastly, and so has the Philippines group. I remember we were all elated when we had slightly more than 300 attendees in that training seminar. And the funny thing is, more than half were leaders from overseas. However, looking back and comparing to now, just this time last year, across the whole of RIWAY International, we had over 200 training seminars and a total of more than 1,000 speakers involved in the NDO Leadership Training Seminar, in which 12 were held in the Philippines, with the combined attendance of more than 8,000, which proves the exponential growth of Philippines within a short span of 5 years. So with the growth and expansion these past few years, we can see a huge surge of people from all walks of life joining our big family in RIWAY and carving out a career in direct selling. With this growing number of people joining RIWAY, I believe it is the best time for more people to not only understand this industry of leadership, but be able to learn and grow to become better leaders. These 5 leaders speaking today have been given this responsibility to share about a series of important principles of leadership. And undeniably, these leaders are key figures in various groups who have set an example for many to follow. I'm extremely thankful to these leaders for putting importance in this training seminar to ensure the success of today's event together with me. They truly have gone through hell and back, countless number of sleepless nights and loss of appetite to prepare for this training seminar today. Here, I express my heartfelt gratitude to these leaders to go through this together with me. And apart from being the conductor for today's event, I will also be the final speaker for tonight. Alright, without further ado, allow me to welcome our first speaker. She is one of the newest Team Elite Pegasus in Philippines, and I met her in 2017 at a leadership training seminar in Chiang Mai. And ever since then, she has grown and changed entirely. She's like a generator. As long as when you are negative, when you come into contact with her, immediately you will be more positive. Honestly speaking, I have never ever heard one word of negativity from her before until today. Each and every time we have a conversation, it is always about vision. It is always about goals. And I admire that kind of drive that she has within her, to the point where nothing can stop her. Who is she? She is Team Elite Pegasus, Rose M. Lim.
Good evening. 3 months ago, I was a Team Elite Pavo. 3 months ago, I was in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy. But 3 months later, I am Team Elite Pegasus, Rose Ann. What a journey it has been. But I believe that this is just the beginning. Team Elite Pegasus is not the end goal, but the beginning of a new journey and chapter in RIWAY International. Thank you for the introduction, James. Today, it's an honor that I am able to be one of the speakers for this leadership training seminar. And I feel extremely grateful to RIWAY International for this opportunity. And my sharing today will be with regards to commitment. 100% commitment. I was a banker before I actually came across multi-level marketing. And when I understood such an industry, I fell in love with it. Mainly because it's an industry that I am able to achieve my dreams and goals. That's why the biggest reason why I left the banking industry, it is because I wanted to chase my dreams. So prior to RIWAY, I was in another multi-level marketing company. I was there for about 2 years. So most of us come into direct selling, it is because we want to earn more money. Because having more money can solve a lot of problems. But I don't believe that we should put money in the center of all. Because if you come in because of money, we will also leave because of money. The first 2 years, I managed to achieve a certain high rank in that company within a span of 6 months. And in my first year there, I enjoyed a passive income of about 300,000 pesos for that year. To many, this is already considered a considerable sum, right? Imagine having an extra 300,000 per year. It can help solve many problems. But going into my second year, I started to face financial issues. Mainly because of maintenance of products, of not only myself, but of my group members as well. However, I didn't want to admit that I was in a terrible situation. Neither did I want to admit that I was bankrupt. But the fact of the matter is, I was. I consider that to be one of the lowest points in my life. And I thought to myself, if it's already at the lowest, then the only way is up, isn't it? So that was the point where I started to hope for a change to turn my life around. That was when I met current Team Supreme Pegasus 6, Faith Ann, and Team Supreme Pegasus 1, Beth Montero. When they introduced RIWAY to me, somehow, I felt that what they were saying about RIWAY is too good to be true. Because that was not what I experienced before. You see, imagine if there's a pen in my hand, and if I ask you whether a pen is long or short, most people will say that it is short. But if I put a toothpick beside it, now, is the pen longer or shorter compared to the toothpick? It's longer, right? Which is why, if you want to know if something is long or short, big or small, good or bad, we need comparison. We need something to compare it with, right? Similarly, if you want to know whether RIWAY is good or bad, we need to compare. I am not here to talk bad about other companies or put down other companies. But based on my own experiences, it seems to me that RIWAY is a company that is very different. A company that is very people-centered, very distributor-oriented. And the more you know RIWAY, the more you will fall in love with RIWAY. After several meetings, I decided to purchase our company's product, Per-Tier Placenta. Because of financial difficulties, I did not have enough money to even buy one set. However, it is because I believed that it was a chance to turn my life around. I knew I had to make a commitment. That was the first commitment I made in RIWAY. I ended up selling that car to just purchase one set of portiere. I burnt all the bridges, and I did not allow myself to have a chance of turning back. So I knew I had to follow it up with actions. I was 100% committed. That was in September 2017. I started to be incredibly positive because I had a goal. I wanted to be a Diamond 1-star. So I bought a suit within the first month and obediently attended every meeting, every event that was held then. Subsequently, in November 2017, I did not achieve Diamond 1-star. Instead, I achieved Diamond 2-star. But I did not allow myself to feel any comfortable just because I achieved my goal. Instead, I set another goal for myself, and in the following month, I achieved the rank of Diamond 3-star. Just these 3 months alone, I already made more than what I have earned 2 years in the previous company. So this has affirmed my decision that I am not wrong in choosing RIWAY. As long as I put in efforts in the right place, in the right company, and in the right platform, then we will only reap what we sow. So this qualified me to attend one of the leadership training seminars that was held in Chiang Mai, Thailand for Diamond 3 stars and above leaders. It was an event that really fired me up once again. I remember being extremely motivated after the leadership training seminar. And in the following month, I committed myself to achieve Team Elite Pavo, even though I was pregnant. It didn't stop me. I always believe that there are 3 levels of commitment. The first level is to tell yourself, I will try. Most of the time, with this form of mentality, you will never be able to achieve your goals. The second level would be to tell yourself, I will try my best, which means that if someone is putting in the efforts, but it does not mean that it is going to be the best, I always adopt this last mentality or the third mentality. I will do my best whatever it takes, regardless of the situation, regardless of the hurdles I have to overcome. I will do whatever it takes to achieve it. And if you scrutinize RIWAY, you will find that this company possesses this attitude as well. You see, a person who possesses this form of mentality, he will never give himself a reason to stop. Regardless of whatever problems that he faces, when he is met with a rejection, it will not be because of that rejection that make him fall down and decide to stay down. If he meets with a problem, he will think of a solution. There will not be anything that can be in his way, which is why 3 months after I committed myself to achieve my goal, I achieved the position of Team Elite Pavo while being 7 months pregnant. Was it tough? Of course. Was it difficult? Definitely. But was it worth it? Absolutely. This is called 100% commitment. And to be able to do so, you have to have that burning desire. However, for the next 2 years, I remained a Team Elite Pavo. And in the Philippines, the number of Team Elites started to grow very fast. But I was very laid back, very passive, to the extent that I started to grow distant from the company. I started to drift away from this environment. I started to turn cold, and it seemed like I lacked that burning desire in me. I stopped going to the office. I stopped attending RIWAY events. And as a result of that, my team started to fall apart. Slowly, my leaders has also gone missing. My group basically fell apart. All the way until 2019, it was because of Faith's constant contact with me. She convinced me to attend another leadership training seminar in 2019 and ignited the fire in me once again. I began to recall all the different visions that I set out to achieve in RIWAY. Once I came back in contact with this positive environment, I grew more positive as well. This time, it was my husband who contacted the positive energy, and he wanted to fight for Team Elite Pavo too. I remember in June 2019, he managed to achieve first month Team Elite Pavo. But the subsequent 2 months, he didn't manage to achieve it. Was failure going to stop us? No. It was then that we reflected on what we did not do well enough to fill up that missing pieces and start again. As I mentioned earlier, if we came across a problem, we do not give up. We think of a solution and go towards what we set out to achieve. We organized more events, more OPPs, we held more trainings, and as a result, in November of 2019, he did it. You see, a failure is inevitable. Failure is part of success. Failures are when you learn the most. These things that you learn will eventually contribute to you and your success in future. Don't you think so? When you have 100% commitment, it is when you burn all the bridges at the back. Not allow yourself to have somewhere you can use to escape. 100% commitment is when you tell everyone around you, let them know your goal. Sometimes, you will see leaders shout out their goals on the big stage in a leaders recognition night. It is when you say your goal out loud, when the whole world knows what your goal is. There is no turning back, and you only have one choice. The only way is to achieve it. Actually, in multi-level marketing, there is a flame that has to be continuously be burning. And for it to continuously burn, we need to add oil to that fire, right? In order for us to have that fire burn non-stop, we have to feed it with visions of goals and dreams that yet we have to achieve. That's why having vision is extremely important. You have to think in the next 3 years, what kind of luxury car do you want to own? In the next 5 years, what kind of house do you want to live in? Does it have a swimming pool? In the next 10 years, what kind of person do you want to become? Go out there and seek for inspiration. Look at the kind of cars the leaders in Taiwan are driving. Look at the houses that the leaders in Malaysia are living. As long as you open your eyes to see, there are tons of things out there to drive your burning desire. Never allow the flame to die off. Because to ignite it once again is going to be extremely difficult. I am so thankful that I didn't leave RIWAY. I am so thankful that I didn't leave multi-level marketing. I am even more thankful that I managed to ignite that fire once again. And because of this fire kept burning, my goals started to get bigger and my goals started to get stronger. So, I had to achieve Team Elite Pegasus in 2020. But the road is never easy. There will always be obstacles to try to kill that fire off. There will always be problems that will put you down and slow you down. Just like in March, we all had to face a crisis. We all went into lockdown. Most people will be thinking, since everyone is on lockdown, everyone will slow down. There is no need to fight. And the pandemic became a very convenient excuse that everyone can use. But not for me, not my team. We braved this pandemic. We learned what we were not used to before. We think of solutions that can help us sustain. And after months and months of preparation and learning, I decided it is time to fight for Team Elite Pegasus in October 2020. I do not know why, but I always choose the most difficult time to fight. Because I know that the story I will tell will be even more exciting. So 2 days after I committed to the team, Davao announced a curfew. But a commitment is a commitment. Since we already committed, there is no turning back. Moreover, I was pregnant yet again, and I was due in December. We just so happened to be the last month of my fight. Week after week, stricter measures started to be implemented, limiting events to even maximum of 25 people. But the thing is, the goal was bigger than the problem. If we didn't give our best, no matter what it takes, I thought to myself, if I don't end up achieving Team Elite Pegasus, I think the problem will be even bigger. So thankfully, together with my team, together with development department, together with faith, and together with James, I did it. We did it. This is why today, at the opening of my speech, I said, 3 months ago, I was a Team Elite Pavo. 3 months ago, I was pregnant. But 3 months later, today, I have a beautiful daughter, and I am proud to say that I am Team Elite Pegasus, Rose and Lim. There is no best time to fight. No matter when we decide to fight, it will still be as tough, as it will still be as difficult. And the longer you wait, you're just delaying your own success. If you ask me why always fight during the 3rd trimester of my pregnancy? For both Team Elite Pavo and Team Elite Pegasus, because at my weakest, I want to be at my strongest. So when is the best time to fight? You decide. Have a prosperous 2021. Good evening.
It's true. Nothing can be achieved without commitment. This is why I feel that this topic is tailor-made for her. Regardless of the situation she has been put in, it is not by luck, it is not by chance she is in the position she is in today. I believe through her experience and sharing today, it has allowed us to understand what exactly is 100% commitment. Alright, the next speaker is one of the most attentive at every leadership training seminar. Why do I say so? If you have been to any of the leadership training seminars previously and have worn a translating device, you will recognize this voice. Never once has she rejected to help at the event, but instead always wants to offer a helping hand. I consider her a very selfless leader with great character. Not only towards RIWAY, but in her group as well. She will always be the first one to step out to volunteer herself, whatever it is. Be it a task, an action, or even when it comes to goals. She is always leading by example. And today, she is here not as a translator, but as a speaker. Who is she? She is Team Elite Pegasus, Lo Man Xuan.
Good evening. I'm Shen, and firstly, I want to thank RIWAY International and our Philippines General Manager James Chong for this opportunity to be able to be one of the speakers for today's leadership training seminar, 6 Principles of an Outstanding Leader. From this training seminar's title alone, we can somehow guess it has got to do with leadership, and it is important because we are in direct selling, an industry of leadership. I would like to ask each and every one of you a question. Do you think that we are born with abilities to become a leader? Do you think we are born with these skills or qualities? Sometimes when I talk to people, they would usually say, Shen, you can achieve success because you are born with these qualities. Shen, you can achieve success because you are more capable than me. Is it really true? Think about this. Have you ever seen friends within your social circle who might not be as good looking as you, who might not be as well educated as you, who might have a smaller social circle as compared to you, or even those who might not be as talented as you, but they are more successful than you? Have you seen people like that around? I believe so. But the most important question is, why? Why are they more successful than you? Why are they wealthier than you? I was an engineer before I joined RIWAY. And in just a short couple of months, I decided to quit my job and become full-time in RIWAY. Because at that time, the income I made in RIWAY was already 5 times more than what I earned in my previous job. A year after I left my job, my results in RIWAY was still not outstanding, and even reached a bottleneck. As a result, my family started to persuade me to go back to working in a normal job. Right around that time, Alan Kang asked me if I want to go to the Philippines to expand the market. In my mind, I'm thinking that this would be something that could drag a little more time for me in RIWAY to hopefully achieve some result so that I can give my parents a peace of mind. So I committed to them that if within a year there still isn't any significant results, I would obediently go back to working in a 9-to-5 job. It took a lot of guts for me to go to a foreign country where I have no friends or family and make such a commitment to my family. It was in the Philippines where I got to know our senior director, Dato Kenny Wong, and managers then Ted Tan, James Chong, and Ian Chua. I subsequently got much closer to the company, but I still was not a Diamond 1-star yet at that point in time. So I had a lot to learn. Starting from the most basic of going on stage to speak, learn to do OPP, and so on. Since I am in a completely new environment, I had to constantly challenge myself. If you know me, you would know that I am actually quite introverted. So there are many difficulties or uncomfortable things that I had to start to do, particularly prospecting people or getting to know strangers in the cold market. I believe this isn't an ability that you are born with. I think all of us have such fears. Am I right? Today, if you are facing such difficulties, you've got to understand that it is a situation where we are put in to challenge us. You've got to be thankful for it because it is there for you to learn something. I remember boss once said, God will not take it easy on you and give whatever you ask for. For example, if you want courage, God will not let you off so easily and give you courage immediately, right? Instead, you will be put in a situation, a very dangerous situation. For example, If there is a fire, you will need to pluck up the courage and run into the fire to save someone who is stuck inside. And after going through that, you start to train that form of courage within you. The more you train, the better you become at it. It is at that exact moment when you pluck up that courage, it is at that exact moment when you say to yourself, I got the guts. I dare. It is then that you take a step forward. What I want to say is that when you have the guts, you take a step forward. But on the other hand, when you don't have the guts, you take a step back. This is the difference, especially in the people who can achieve success. Oftentimes, you see those successful people, they are able to attain the success that they have. It is often due to that moment in time. Even though they do not even know how dangerous the path is, even when they don't know how difficult the path ahead is, they tell themselves that they have the guts. On the other hand, the people who are unable to achieve success, it is not because they are not well skilled. It is not because they don't have the resources. It is not because they are unlucky. It is because they lack guts. This is an extremely important success principle. And it isn't difficult to train. If you ask me how to have the guts, I would always say, go and do the things that we do not dare to do. Go and face the challenges that we didn't dare to face before. Go and endure the hardship that others are not willing to endure. Go and do the things others are not willing to do. Once we do it persistently, once we do it constantly, we will be able to build that form of courage in us to continually face whatever challenges and adversities life throws at us. It is the same as when you face a problem. It is for you to get an answer. You will be put in a situation with problems. Only then you get an answer. So, don't be afraid of challenges. Don't be afraid of problems. They are there for a reason. I remember I would roam around malls and restaurants. I would try to talk to anyone that I encounter because I want to get better at it. And also because I don't have any friends in the Philippines. There was one time that I remember very clearly. I saw a lady sitting alone in the next table. So I thought that it is a particularly good chance for me, isn't it? So I told myself I have to stand up and walk up to her and start talking to her. However, my fear held me back. And I started to give reasons to myself, to convince myself not to go over. I start to imagine, what if the husband suddenly come back and it will be super awkward? What if she doesn't want to talk to me? What if she will not give me the time to talk to her? It will be so embarrassing, right? I could feel my body getting so heavy, like the chair was holding me, making it hard to stand. It seemed so hard to make the move. And I realized, the longer I wait, the more fear I had. But I told myself, I am here to succeed. So without hesitation, I plucked up my courage and walked towards the lady and said, Hi, I'm Shen. I'm from Malaysia. You know what? Right after I opened my mouth, the fear slowly disappeared. Before that, I feel like there's an invisible barrier between me and her. But when I opened my mouth, it started to disappear. And I realized that the more I talk, the more confident I got. The more I talked, it felt like I could not stop talking. It's like I passed my fear over to her. Now she seems a bit scared of me after I keep on talking. Remember, face the fear and there will be no more fear. Because the longer we wait, the bigger the fear will become. The longer we wait, the less we will dare to do it. Thinking back, it was such a funny experience because it is all the what ifs that has continually slowed me down. I believe there are always two sides to a coin. One good and one bad. Often, we will always think of the bad things first. Just like in that instance, my first thought was, what if I got rejected? But on the other hand, did we ever think that if we made that move, they might be interested in the product or business? What if the outcome was that she decided to purchase a set of footwear from you? What if you were able to change their lives because of RIWAY? What if he or she would be the next Team Elite Pegasus in our team? If we allow the fear to stop us, we might have missed such an opportunity, right? Without guts, even if we are handed a golden opportunity, we will still become indecisive or even turn a blind eye on it. We will allow our fear and limiting belief to hold us back. Hence, we will hesitate and even say that RIWAY might not be the one for us, or this customer won't want to buy from me, to cover up our lack of courage. Some might even say, I'll wait and see. Let's see if they can succeed. If they succeed, then I will join them. Does this sound familiar? After 5 years of wait and see, these people still remain the same, standing still in the same spot they were 5 years ago. Many may have met RIWAY before, and most would not have had enough confidence in RIWAY in the Philippines, solely because it was just starting out 5 years ago. There was no office in the Philippines yet, nor were there any large-scale events. 5 years ago, if you were to say, wait and see, I won't blame you. But at this point in time, RIWAY Philippines has multiplied and grown over the years, from no office to 4 offices across the Philippines as of now. From holding events of 20 people in attendance up till today's growing number of more than 10,000. Many leaders have left their job, closed down their shops, or even their business to join into RIWAY. When are you going to pluck up the courage to make such a decision in your life? I am very thankful for myself that 5 years ago, I had the guts to make a decision to go to the Philippines. I had the guts to commit myself. I had the guts to do a lot of other things I dare not do in the past. Because of that, it made me who I am today. But most importantly, I am extremely thankful to myself for having the guts to set a huge goal for not only my team, but also myself as well. Last year, when pandemic has started to worsen, it was the time that I decided to challenge the rank of Team Elite Pegasus. It was not easy to make this decision. It takes the guts. I remember when James told me to commit it in front of my leaders, I went quiet for a few seconds. And when I finally said the words in a leaders meeting with my team, I want to become Team Elite Pegasus before the year ends, I could feel my voice trembling because that was something I am not used to doing. Before joining RIWAY, I dare not tell others about my dream because my mentality was that the dream is mine, not theirs. No one will be interested in it anyway, so why bother to tell them? That might sound like a reason, but I believe that is an excuse. I was afraid that if I told them my dream and I failed to achieve it, others will start to make fun of me. I was so timid. However, when I had the guts to say it out, it was the first big step that I took towards my goal. A journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first step. True enough. Last December 2020, I was able to achieve the rank of Team Elite Pegasus. For that, I want to express my gratitude towards James, the support of RIWAY International, and not forgetting my team. Thank you very much. This time, I would like to use this opportunity to commit for myself and for my team in front of the thousands of people watching this leadership training seminar. I will become Team Supreme Pegasus 3, and there will be at least 5 Team Elite Pegasus by the end of the year. Sometimes in life, we got to have the guts to burn all the bridges, leaving ourselves no choice but to move forward towards our goal. By the moment you hit it, you will be very thankful to yourself because you made that difficult decision. From this moment on, let us choose to be courageous in all our endeavors. My sharing will end here. Thank you.
She's a living testimony of the quote, "Tough times don't last, but tough people do." These tough times will not last forever. It is these kinds of people who will always come out on top, no matter what kind of situation they are placed in. I believe she deserves the utmost respect to make such a commitment here today. Thank you for sharing, Xuan. Likewise, for a business owner, you will also need to have such qualities to establish a sustainable business. Because 1 out of 100 companies can only make it past the 10-year mark. This next person is a business owner for the past 26 years. To be successful in one industry is already not easy. For sure, she can be successful in traditional business. It is because of her attitude, her character, and her drive. With these, it is no wonder she is one of the top in RIWAY Philippines at the same time, achieving the rank of Team Elite Pegasus. I'm sure she has seen something in RIWAY that is why she is here. Who is she? She is Team Elite Pegasus, Wang Helen Ang.
Wow, I'm utterly impressed and extremely grateful that RIWAY did such an introduction video for me. Maybe I can take this opportunity to express how I feel. RIWAY is a company that is willing to go all out to make such videos for us leaders can borrow strength from it. It takes a huge sum of money to get such introduction video done. In the 26 years that I have been doing business, I've never once had a video done for me to recognize me and my efforts. I don't think anyone will do that for me. But RIWAY is different. Furthermore, the more they do, the better it gets. The more professional it becomes. When I look at my own introduction video, it builds up my confidence. It makes me feel very appreciated and honored. I'm extremely thankful to RIWAY for their efforts towards all of us leaders. Even though this action alone to RIWAY is just a small gesture, yet I dare to say that RIWAY is the only company in the market that is willing to go to such extent for their leaders. This is one of the charms that attracted me to RIWAY and is unique to RIWAY. Before I continue my sharing, let me introduce myself. I am Helen from the Philippines. My topic today is the beauty of RIWAY. For the past 26 years, I have been doing traditional business as a real estate subdivision developer. And in my 26 years of experience, I have come across many different businesses and their owners. I'm more or less familiar with how a business works and to know if a company is right. Maybe I can analyze RIWAY from my perspective and to let us clearly see what kind of business RIWAY is. Since all of us here has come across RIWAY, I believe we need to know whether this company or this business is doable. whether this company is right, whether this company's boss is reliable, isn't it? If it is doable, if it is the right company, and if the boss is reliable, I believe we will then have the faith to come into this business wholeheartedly. Actually, being in the market this long, multi-level marketing is no stranger to me. I have also come across many different companies and products before. At first, I was apprehensive to stay in RIWAY, mainly because my impression of direct selling wasn't very good. Because I knew that direct selling companies always charge a large amount of membership fee. Most members have to purchase the product monthly to maintain a certain quota in order to be able to continue getting their commission, to the extent that the whole storeroom at their homes gets all filled up with these products. Can you imagine that? So I thought to myself, maybe I'll just be a consumer since I already have my own business. But as my understanding deepened, I learned that in RIWAY, the amount we pay for is only for the product. Membership is free, and there are no quotas, sales targets, or maintenance fees. I remember when I attended RIWAY's 9th anniversary gala dinner in Singapore, I realized that RIWAY was different. It was a lavish anniversary celebration with 20,000 people in attendance. Wow, what company will hold a dinner as big as that? This means 20,000 plates, 20,000 spoons and forks, 2,000 chickens, 2,000 fishes, and other delicious food items. It triggered my curiosity even further. So I started learning more about RIWAY. I believe if we want to succeed, we must follow the right people, follow the right company. The name RIWAY stands for showing you the right way. It doesn't mean to say that what RIWAY is doing is right, but as the boss always mentioned, that it is a reminder to him to always to do things right, to always maintain the right mindset. Having been in this industry for some time, he realized it always lacked something he was looking for. So his direction for starting RIWAY was to build a company that was like no other in the market. Because of this mindset, he wanted to set an example and do things from scratch. And that's why RIWAY started from zero. He knew that if he started from zero and slowly worked his way up, RIWAY won't be afraid of failure and can be more daring in making decisions. And even if he fails, he can still start all over again from zero. So when RIWAY started, many seasoned leaders of the direct selling industry offered to join RIWAY and to bring their whole team over. But boss refused because he knew there was no shortcut to building this company that he has in plan. That's why you always hear the story of how RIWAY started from 38 bottles of Portier placenta and the 4 old people. It is unbelievable how most of us are descendants of these 4 leaders today. I believe before becoming leaders, we all start from being consumers of the product. I bought the 5th edition of Portier placenta for my mom, and she is a testimonial of the product. While we are on the subject of the product, The standard of the product is extremely high, and RIWAY is very strict when it comes to this. It is always improving, from the 6 ingredients in the first edition up to the 12 ingredients in the 6th edition today. In these 13 years, RIWAY has continuously improved the product to stay ahead of technology, to have the best possible product on hand, creating more selling points for us leaders so we can efficiently market this product to our clients. Did you know the labels and the boxes of the first edition of Portier Placenta were personally cut and pasted by our boss? The extent boss will go to make sure it is perfect is incredible. RIWAY has all the rights to increase the price with the improvement of the product RIWAY undertakes until today. Honestly, I do not think there is anything wrong increasing the price if the quality of the product is extremely high. But no, even though the ingredients has doubled since the first edition, the price remained the same. This is the charm of RIWAY. You know, to hire staff for a business is not easy, let alone retain them. Many business owners face this problem where they train newly hired staff, and after a couple of months or years, these staffs that they trained end up leaving the company. So business owners have to go through the hiring and training process over and over again. There are 300 staff in RIWAY, and if you take notice, most of them are very young. James mentioned before, RIWAY does not look at how highly educated you are, but rather what kind of attitude you have, how much you want to learn, how badly you want to succeed. The attitude of the RIWAY staffs are always very positive, very willing to learn, because there's a company, RIWAY, allows them to unleash their potentials, to improve themselves, and most importantly, allow them to make mistakes and learn from it. The camaraderie between them is built based on understanding and care, and the way RIWAY treats them, the staffs, with full compassion. That's why the number of staff who have left RIWAY is close to 0. Similarly, to recruit new distributors isn't easy, let alone retaining them, isn't it? In traditional business, most owners will say to start up a business is easy, but to sustain the business is the hard part. And as a business owner, I can agree to this statement, because to start up a business, you only need capital to do that. To sustain a business, you need to reinvest and continuously fund for the growth of the business, and I have yet to talk about the expansion of it. In RIWAY, however, we need not worry about starting up, sustaining, or even expanding the company itself. Every 3 months for the past 13 years, RIWAY has put in extraordinary amounts to hold leaders' recognition nights, sometimes across 10 countries, with these events getting bigger and bigger each time and more grand. RIWAY has done this to help leaders to have more selling points, to attract more prospects to attend, and to make it easier for us to invite. All this costs large sums of money. You cannot even imagine how much money is spent to finance these events. The important point is that RIWAY does not require us to have any sales targets to continue doing such extravagant events. They go all out for us without asking for anything in return. Every 3 months, RIWAY holds leadership training seminars, just like this one you're watching now. And today alone, it is spread out to 11 different events in different languages with more than 60 speakers. Let me give you an example. When a leader attends such an event, they listen to the speaker and slowly understand. If I want to succeed, I have to sacrifice to achieve what others have, and they get motivated by the speakers, their stories, and find out ways to achieve what the speakers have achieved. So they continue to fight for success in RIWAY because they know it is a platform for them to achieve their dreams. RIWAY also teaches us how to become better leaders in our group. Like today, for example, leaders can in turn achieve passive income and growth in our group. Just these two alone is already sufficient to sustain and retain a leader. I still have yet to mention events like Team Elite Nights, Pegasus Night, Top Leaders Meeting, and so on. RIWAY has never let us worry about such things, does it? Moreover, when we expand our business to other countries, for example, the Philippines, RIWAY never lets you worry about looking for an office, renting a space, paying the electricity bills, or even the staff's salary. These things in the back end will be taken care of by the company. We just have to focus on ourselves and our team. This is again what I feel is the charm of RIWAY. The missing piece of the puzzle is you. Honestly, in the market, there isn't a company like RIWAY International. Others might have a product, but don't have the marketing plan like RIWAY. Some may have a marketing plan like RIWAY, but don't have the right mindset. Others might have all of the above that I mentioned, but they absolutely don't have a core management team that RIWAY has. You see, they don't have a boss like Dr. Lim Boon Hong. Today, I don't have an hour to share with you all the different charms and beauty of RIWAY. And even if I have an hour to do so, I still don't think that it is enough. But through my sharing and what I have analyzed, I truly believe that this is a company that is worth taking a look at. And I believe in this company so much that I started to introduce this company and its product to my 8 siblings, their in-laws, our relatives, our friends, our acquaintances. If something isn't this good, you definitely will not want to share it with your family, right? Moreover, in RIWAY today, more and more professionals, more and more business owners have started to join. I am one of those examples. My question is, what are you waiting for? As much as I have shared with you today, is not to tell you that you should join RIWAY. I am just telling you what I have seen and noticed in this company. You can use it as a reference to make a decision. I will still urge you to take a closer look at this company, but I can tell you, if you cannot find a better company than RIWAY, then I believe RIWAY is the best. Just like what Rose Ann said, the more you find out about RIWAY, the more you will love RIWAY. Thank you, RIWAY, for this opportunity. Thank you, James. My sharing will end here. Thank you.
After hearing Helen's sharing, I feel very fortunate because the first direct selling company I come across and I join is already such a right company. Throughout her sharing, my understanding of RIWAY deepened and I see a different perspective of RIWAY. I believe for those in RIWAY, you would feel like how I feel, to cherish this company even more, to cherish this environment even more. And for those who have yet to join us, to understand more and see RIWAY in a clearer picture. Let's give Helen another round of applause. This next speaker is one of the pioneers of RIWAY Philippines. I dare say he is the most qualified to talk about RIWAY Philippines because he has been with us throughout these years, even before we had an office. Through the ups and the downs, through the challenges and the victories, until today, he has grown very much as a leader. If someone else were to be in his place in the beginning, I don't think they will be able to persevere and end up in the position he is today. Who is he? He is Team Supreme Pegasus 1 ring, Raymond Tong.
Thank you for the introduction, James. Good evening. Today, I represent RIWAY International as a speaker, and I am Team Supreme Pegasus 1 ring, Raymond Tong. Utmost gratitude to RIWAY International, as well as the General Manager of RIWAY Philippines, James Xiong, for this opportunity as one of the distinguished speakers for today's leadership training seminar. My topic for this evening is building a perfect team. Now, you might be wondering, Raymond, you are solid. You got a perfect team. That is why this is your topic today. No, you are entirely wrong. If I think that this team is perfect, there would not be any room to improve, nor would there be any drive to become stronger, to become bigger. Instead, it will be the beginning of the downfall of the group. Don't you think so? That is the exact reason why people have negative perceptions towards multi-level marketing or direct selling. It is because when certain companies start to break through good records or achieve a certain turnover, the mindset of the leaders start to change. They think that it is already enough, it is already good, it is already big. They change their mindset. They change the marketing plan, or worst case scenario, they shut down the company. They instead formulate their own method and culture. I believe this is no secret, am I right? Just like in a country, if the leader of the entire country is not good, the people in the country will suffer. If the principal in the school is not disciplined, the students will not be disciplined as well, causing the school to have a bad reputation. It is the same in an army. If the army goes to war, the general is nowhere to be found. The army would probably lose the war. In the company meets a problem. The boss decides to close the company. Instead of seeking solutions, its employees will be left in dire straits. Similarly, in multi-level marketing, a leader possesses such responsibilities as well. If a group starts to grow and the leader does not want to take up responsibility and all he wants is to take instead of contribute, sit around, relaxing, shaking his leg while waiting for income without taking action, what do you think will happen to the group? Can you imagine if RIWAY is like this? Can you imagine if our boss is like this? That is why I always feel so lucky that I'm in RIWAY. Time and again, Year and after year, our boss always says that RIWAY has not even begun, when RIWAY has already achieved a turnover of over 100 million Singapore dollars. Now, even when RIWAY's turnover has surpassed billions of US dollars in the near future, those will still be his exact words. We have yet to begin. That is why RIWAY is getting bigger and bigger. I am so thankful and grateful that not only our boss is like this, those following in his footsteps, like our senior directors, general managers, and even down to the managers, they possess this same mentality. In other words, for an entire organization or a group to move outwards, the whole entire organization has to move together as one entity. RIWAY is a group that is exactly like this. Not only the higher management is moving, but the entire organization, including managers down to the executives, are all moving together, fighting together. It will never be the case if the people at the top are not doing anything and expect everyone below to put in the work. A group like this will never expand. This is the outcome of an influential environment, one that is created and duplicated in RIWAY. It is an environment that reminds each and every one of us to move out of our comfort zone, to not feel that we have enough, to not feel that we don't need to improve anymore. This culture and mindset that RIWAY possesses is passed down to every single leader, every single group. Therefore, this environment is extremely crucial. For as long as we position ourselves as a leader, this is the exact mindset we got to have. With this correct kind of mindset, do not think what we can take from this country. Instead, think of what we can contribute to this country. Do not ask what this company can give you. Instead, think of how we can contribute to this company. Do not ask what this group can give you. Instead, think of what you can contribute to this group. And in turn, the group will expand, the group will grow. Can you imagine if every single leader possesses this mindset? What will be the result in the next 3 years? What will it be like in the next 5 years? The results will be extremely scary. Don't you think so? Prior to going to the Philippines, I was using my own methods to develop a group and had some success in doing so. However, that success could not sustain because the methods were not duplicatable and my leadership was questionable. It came to a point where I wanted to give up on RIWAY because I ran into financial problems. But what came disguised as an opportunity was when Team Supreme Pegasus 2, Wandering Alan Kang, offered me to be his translator as he intended to expand RIWAY business in the Philippines. And when we were talking, I realized that the root cause of my downfall was my inability to reflect and examine what I have done wrong and change accordingly. So I decided to go to the Philippines with him. I emptied my cup to relearn again. I drew my observations throughout my many encounters, not only from Alan, but also from RIWAY business development managers then, like Ted Tan, Yen Chua, Jackie Lim, and most of all, our present General Manager James, speaking highly on how they were mentored by RIWAY Chief Development Officer, Dato Kenny Wong. I realized that the way that they talk, the standards that they have, the attitude that they possess, down to the looks, it is extremely similar to our boss. James did mention before that if you want to be as successful as the big leaders in RIWAY, the method is simple. Just duplicate what they are doing up to 100%. Have you heard of the 3I before? The first one stands for imitate. The second stands for innovate. And the last one for invent. But in order for us to invent, we first need to learn how to imitate. We must be able to follow, and we must be disciplined in duplicating. Now, there will be some who did follow, but yet did not achieve similar results. Why? And that is only because they did not follow 100%. They did not discipline themselves 100%. I believe that even before we start duplicating, we have to know our positioning first. Now, when I say positioning, I'm not talking about the position of a Diamond 1 star or a Team Elite. The positioning I am talking about is, do we set ourselves at the right position? Do we position ourselves as leaders? Do we see ourselves as leaders? If we are prepared to be leaders and we position ourselves as leaders, only then there would be value in going through that journey of becoming the best follower. In other words, as what our boss always say, become the best downline that you want to have. Become the best person to collaborate with. Become the best candidate to work together with. What kind of downline and partners that we want depends entirely on we taking up the responsibility to become that person first. We become the best downline first. Only then our group will follow. You may ask, what to follow? What to duplicate? Now, there are 4 different realms to a human being. The outermost realm is the physical realm, followed by the mental realm, the emotional realm, and the last is the spiritual realm. Now, I will not go into these 4 different realms. However, the easiest and the simplest one to duplicate is to start from the outermost, the physical appearance. How these successful people in RIWAY look is how we will look. Only then can we slowly start to work inwards towards their thinking. But if we are unable to even duplicate the way they look on the outside, it is going to be more difficult to start thinking like them because we are unable to see their thoughts. If we cannot even accomplish the simplest thing, don't even need to think about success. It is still extremely distant. But once we are able to duplicate from the outermost realm, we can slowly work towards inside. But the thing is, these different realms of human being is very closely interrelated. Why do I say that? Take for example, if the way that you walk is awfully slow, do you think that your thinking will be fast? Definitely not. Which means to say, if we are able to influence and change our actions just by walking faster, it can influence our mind to think faster. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, to emulate a successful person's thinking, example, if I want to think like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, the only way I can try to emulate and start to think the way that they think is to pick up their books and read. The reason why we must read is because we are not able to be around them physically or to interact with them. But in RIWAY, the attitude of RIWAY, the culture of RIWAY, the style of work in RIWAY, all comes from our boss thinking and his character. And the important point is that we are able to come across this easier than outside. We have leaders training seminar for us to learn from, just like how I unlearned everything, emptied my cup, and absorb everything from this kind of events. RIWAY to me is like a big educational institution, teaching us many life experiences and humanistic philosophy inherent to our success in life. More importantly is we are able to be closer to the company, to the big leaders and the higher management in RIWAY. Now, once we position ourselves at the right position as a leader, just like in an army, the general is the one with the highest ability, or else the army will not even submit to his instructions and directions. In other words, the leader of the group needs to be highly capable and have strong abilities in order to become the person that the people will admire and be willing to listen to. I remember what our boss says: do not point fingers at other people. Do not blame other people for your failures and mishaps. Because if one finger is pointing at others, remember, at least 3 fingers are pointing back at you. This is to remind us not to blame others, not to put responsibilities on others. Everything starts from ourselves. It is always easier to put the blame on others, but I learned this the hard way. If we put that responsibility to learn from our failures, to better ourselves, and reflect on how we can do better in future, the only person who will benefit from all of it most is none other than ourselves. So, to build a perfect team, start to position yourself as a leader. Take up the responsibility. Become the one that has the best ability. Become the one that is most capable, so as to be able to set an example that your group can emulate. If we can do that, the result will be something unimaginably huge. Just like how the name of our company RIWAY reminds our boss to do things the right way. I will always remind myself that this team is still work in progress, so that we can continually grow and expand, maybe in the coming 5 years, in the coming 10 years. I'm about to conclude my sharing today. Let me just say this. To me, there's no need for us to seek external tools. There's no need for us to seek external motivational activities, because this environment needed for us to become better leaders is right in front of us. All we need is just to open our eyes and notice these things that the leaders are setting examples. There is no shortcut to building a perfect team. The only way is to start from yourself. I will end my sharing here. Thank you.
Without a doubt, after listening carefully to his sharing, to get to where he is today, he learned to be the best follower first. If only we duplicate to 100%, the apple won't drop too far away from the tree. Similarly, the results you achieve won't be far from what he has achieved. For what he has done, I really admire him. I really appreciate his dedication to RIWAY. Thank you, Raymond, for sharing and giving me such a reminder to not remain comfortable. Next up is the number 1 in RIWAY Philippines. She is also the youngest among our 6 speakers today. Despite being the youngest, her rank is the highest. And amongst so many people that I know, even though she is in such a high position, she still remains the most humble. She still chooses to be hit no matter what the circumstances are. Even if it's just a casual conversation, she will choose to let it push her. She will choose to let it influence her and continuously set even bigger goals along the way. With this kind of attitude, it is no wonder she is the champion of Philippines. Who is she? Let's welcome our Team Supreme Pegasus 6, Faith Ann.
Good evening. My name is Faith Ann. Before I begin, I want to share a very important success principle with you, and that is gratitude. In the English dictionary, it means the quality of being thankful. And being thankful means the readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. In my opinion, gratitude means to cherish or to appreciate. For if we do not know how to value what we have, we will then be unable to make the most of it. That's why our boss always reminds us, cherish our family, cherish our parents. Out of the 7.6 billion people in the world, it is fated that out of this number, the person who is your father, not someone else. Your mother is your mother. It is also because of faith. For if a person were to live till 75, how many more years do we still have to value and cherish them? Cherish your spouse, your husband, or your wife. For it is faith that they are also part of your life's journey. If you don't cherish and value what you have, you will never be able to make the most of it. Be thankful that you still have both your hands. You can still fight. Be thankful for having 2 legs so you can still walk fast. Certain people, in the blink of an eye, they lose the opportunity to be able to hold their spouse's hands. They lose the ability to walk and stay bedridden forever. Be appreciative of what we have. Do not look at what we do not have. You may wonder, why did I open my sharing with such a statement? Because I want to take this opportunity to remind myself to be appreciative of what I have and do what I can while I can. That is how to achieve success in the shortest possible time. You may see all the brilliance on the surface, but what we see often is only a fractional part of what it really is. Many times, I look back at what I've been through to get where I am today, and I feel extremely grateful. This journey has sure been arduous, but it sure has been worth it. If we want to be successful, we got to look beneath the surface, look at what it took for someone to be where they are today. And most importantly, enjoy the journey, not endure the pain. Why do I say this? You see the difference when someone endures the pain and enjoys the journey. It's got to do with the person's thinking, whether he wants to do it or he needs to do it. When someone needs to do it, he will do it very reluctantly, very unwillingly. Another OPP, another meeting to attend to, he treats it as if it's a burden. Slowly through time, the more he goes through, the more he endures the pain. It's like his body is full of explosives about to explode at any given time. Whereas on the other hand, when someone wants to do it, he does it willingly, with a positive mind, so willing to learn, so willing to do. No matter what kind of resistance he comes across, he faces it, reflects, and moves forward. I want to ask you, what kind of road has no rocks or stones? Which kind of meat has no bones? Similarly, resistance is part of success. But it isn't there to stop you. It is there to make you stronger and better. Let me give you an example. I have been working out a lot lately. Actually, we can just do dumbbell lifts with an iPhone, right? But why do we see some people taking 20 kilogram weights, 30 kilogram weights? The heavier it is, the more resistant it is, the tougher it is. After doing, your hands feel sore, your muscles ache, but after we continue to do so, our muscles grow. We got to get used to that pain. We got to get used to resistance. That is the blood and sweat I am talking about. There's a saying that goes like this. If you are good to yourself, life will be tough on you. But if you are tough on yourself, life will be good to you. Be willing to go through pain. Be willing to allow yourself to feel uncomfortable. Be tough on yourself. Because most of the time, it is those uncomfortable feelings that force us to grow. It feels as if a huge rock is on your chest. Very uncomfortable, very painful, very stressful. Going on stage is very tough. But the more you do it, the better you get. Look beneath the surface of the successful people. It definitely isn't as easy as you think it is. Especially those team elites in RIWAY, team supremes in RIWAY. I know, because I too have been through it. When you are relaxing, someone else is putting in the work. When you are watching movies, someone else is putting in the work. When you are going on holidays, someone else is putting in the work. It is no wonder they're the ones who are able to succeed, isn't it? They can put in 10 years of work in 5 years, squeeze 20 years of work into 8 years. Do not say it is impossible to achieve success in RIWAY. It is, because you do not know how to do RIWAY. There are so many people who have already proven to us that it is possible. So we have to reflect on ourselves and see how we can also achieve the same results as them. And as long as we are willing to put in the work, as long as we are willing to put in the sweat, tears will follow. Not the tears when you cry, but the tears that I'm talking about are the tears of joy. When you attain a certain position or rank, you have different privileges in RIWAY. But the first privilege that I want to talk about is something that everyone has. As long as you've heard of RIWAY before, as long as you know Portier Placenta, that, I feel, is already a privilege. Because if today you walk onto the crowded streets, you pick up a rock, then you throw the rock, and whoever it hits, you go up to him and ask, have you heard of RIWAY before? Have you heard of Portier before? I can guarantee that if there are 100 people, 100 of them has not heard of either RIWAY or Portier. There are still tons of people who have yet to even come across RIWAY. It is not a coincidence that we are here in RIWAY today, let alone be as privileged as us to consume Portier. The reason why I am in RIWAY is my mother. Really, if not for RIWAY, maybe our lives wouldn't be as good as it is today. Maybe it wouldn't be as healthy as it is today. I want to take this opportunity to thank our boss, Mr. Lim Bon Hong. Thank you very much. The next kind of privilege I want to share with you is something that not many can have the chance. Not everyone can get to experience. Just like in a leader's recognition night, not everyone gets to go on stage. Out of 10,000, maybe about 2,000 over people can only have the chance. Not everyone has the chance to take a solo picture with the boss. Not everyone gets to share 2 to 5 minutes at a recognition night. So it has nothing to do with most people. Only a handful of leaders has that chance. In society, it is the same. It isn't fair. Not 90% of people in the world succeeds. Only that group of 10%. If it's that easy, there won't be any poor people in the world, isn't it? It is difficult for a reason. But because it is difficult and you achieve it, that kind of elation, that kind of feeling is indescribable. No matter how I describe it to you, only when you achieve it, then you will be able to know what I'm talking about. Also, it is this group of people that prove to us that it can be done. It's just that you have yet to achieve it. Maybe after I share it with you, you will feel very imbalanced. But that is my purpose here today. If it can excite you, then I have done my part. Just now, Helen has already shared with you the introduction videos, the tee-up videos the company has done for us. RIWAY is willing to go through so much just to make such a video. I just want you to imagine if the person in that video was you. What kind of value does it possess? How would you feel? And the video after it's played in a leaders recognition night, you emerge from the hydraulics, the entire stadium looking at you with extravagant pyrotechnic and lights. That kind of honor, that kind of privilege, I believe you have seen it before. I don't know if you remember the 12-year anniversary gala dinner in Singapore. The length of the stage alone, no less than 100 meters from one end to another. If you ask me to run, I think it will also take at least a minute. The size of the event hall from one end to the other takes at least 10 minutes to finish walking. Growing up, I've never had a chance to be able to travel around. The only reason why I travel is to move from one house to another because I couldn't pay the rent. Never had I ever thought about being able to travel out of Davao. Don't even talk about Philippines. But RIWAY has allowed me to fly to so many different countries. Singapore, Macau, Japan, London, Dubai, China, to attend top leaders meeting or Pegasus Night. In every top leaders meeting, RIWAY puts me in the best hotels in the area. I never thought that life could be this good. I started to find myself in business class or first class on all my trips. Every now and then, I would take a 14-hour plane ride to dine for 2 to 3 hours with our CEO, Mr. Lim, and the top leaders. I'd pay for the kids' school fees for the entire year. I'd take my mother for shopping abroad and not worry if I can afford. Wherever major city I fly, I now have a place to call my own. I drive around in my Mercedes-Benz Maybach. Everything that I have mentioned, have you ever thought of it before? Have you ever had visions of it before? Have you ever thought of achieving it for your own family, for your own group? Don't be envious of other people. Instead, think of how you too can achieve it. Don't spend your time thinking about problems because you will never be able to come to any conclusion. Instead, put it into action. Go out and fight. When you meet a problem, think of how to solve it. Think of how to overcome it. Only then you will be able to experience the great feelings. I remember what Boss has said before. In life, don't allow yourself to only experience good feelings. I know there are a lot of good feelings in this world, but don't forget, there are also great feelings. Most people stop at good. They think that good feelings are already good enough. But what I can tell you is that those great feelings feel so much better than those good feelings. For me, it means our aspirations, dreams, and goals should be so much bigger than all our doubts and fears, more powerful than our mediocrity, stronger than the distractions and disappointments of the enemies, far striking than our disbelief and lack of faith, that we would be wasting no hour, no day, dwelling on small temporary setbacks, but instead, spend the rarest and most important asset that we have, our time. Speed is the key. I do not have the luxury to wait. I do not have the luxury to waste. When I started, I wasn't equipped with money, not even an established network. There's only one thing I am able and willing to invest. I was determined to shed my blood, my sweat, and my tears. Time slips, years pass. We only have one life to live. What is it that you truly want? What is it that sets your soul on fire? There is no limitation to what you can achieve inside RIWAY. But if you refuse to believe one more time, if you refuse to fight one more time, you'll only spend the rest of your life wondering what it would have been. Do not die not trying. This concludes my sharing for today, and I hope that through my sharing, it will be able to excite you enough to break out of the mold, to put yourself through the blood, sweat, and tears. See you at the top. RIWAY Philippines, mabuhay!
Thank you, Faith, for such an insight. I never knew that this topic can also be analyzed in this manner. Imagine what you have to go through before you have the rights to share such a topic. The kind of toughness she has gone through, the bumpy journey she has experienced, there is nothing comparable to that. Despite being of young age, but the experience that she has accumulated, the journey she has fought through to become who she is today, the number one in Philippines, is truly commendable. Let's give her another round of applause. Alright, we are down to the last topic, people-centered. And the speaker for this topic is me. Before I share anything, I just want to say that I'm in no position to teach you to be a better person or to tell you to do anything. Most of you I consider my seniors. For the number of years you've been in the market, for the experiences that you have, definitely is more than I have, whether it is in business or in life. The reason why I'm sharing this topic today is because I want to remind myself that to become a better leader, this is what we have to imprint onto our heart and mind. Because my ear is nearest to my mouth, the things that I say, I'm the first to hear it. But at the same time, to remind all of us that if we want to succeed in life, we have to put people at the center of all. Earlier, Rose did mention not to put money at the center of it all. If we come into this industry because of money, it will be because of money that we live, isn't it? There's a saying in Mandarin, 财聚人散, 人聚财散. It's hard to translate word for word, but maybe after I explain, you will get what it means. 财聚人散 means that when wealth is gathered, the people will be divided. When people are all focused on the monetary aspect, the people will eventually divide. The latter part of the sentence, 人聚财散, means that when people are gathered, the money will then be divided among them. Which means to say that if we unite people, the wealth will be divided among this group. Boss always says that money has 4 legs. We cannot chase it because we only have 2 legs. So don't chase money. Why is this important? You see, in multi-level marketing or direct selling, we first have to understand that it's an industry of people. It is an industry that involves people, be it your group members or customers. You have to deal with people, all different sorts of people. People with different cultures, people with different characters. If we know how to work together with people, if we know how to treat people, if we know how to communicate with people, this life skill can allow you to succeed no matter which industry you are in. Do you agree? Since we are in RIWAY, it is also important I take RIWAY as a case study to discuss, as an example to learn from. When we lead someone, we should never use strength or power to lead someone, because RIWAY doesn't use this method to lead us. Instead, RIWAY uses morals. What kind of morals? Through my sharing, maybe you'll be able to understand it deeper. You can see a lot of leaders. The reason why they have put down their previous careers and even closed down their businesses to join RIWAY, to bring the most important people to them in RIWAY, wholeheartedly be involved in RIWAY, is because they enjoy it here. They are extremely happy working here. Don't you think so? This is an extremely important factor. It's not because they can earn money here. Don't get me wrong. Money can be earned anywhere. But they are happy in this environment. When you feel uneasy working in the environment, when you feel unhappy, when you feel like you have no dignity, you wouldn't choose to stay in that environment or company. Especially those who are wealthier than average. Once they feel unhappy, they won't even want to stay for a second longer. They immediately want to leave. Don't you think so? You often hear such things happening on the outside. Many people, because of certain unhappiness, would choose to go out and do their own thing instead. But the funny thing is, in RIWAY, these kind of things seldom happen. Helen mentioned that RIWAY has 300 overstaff, and the number of people leaving RIWAY is close to 0. I believe you have also heard that certain staff in RIWAY can continuously receive 30 months bonus for consecutive years. Come to think of it, if you are the boss of the company, this kind of bonus will usually be given out to the person with the highest contributions to the turnover and sales of the company. If you have such big contributions, the company might have that slight chance of consideration to give that amount of bonus to you. If you don't have these contributions, don't even bother thinking about it. But the important thing is, the staff of RIWAY do not need to do any sales. There is no need for us to worry about the sales, and even if the company's performance isn't good, the staff do not need to be responsible for it. This bonus is based on the employee's attitude performance, not because of how skilled you are. Not everyone that come into RIWAY at first is extremely well skilled and capable, including myself. It is because they spend time to teach us one by one. They spend the efforts to lead us by example, to teach us how and give us chance to make mistakes and improve from. And only because of this, I become who I am today. This is one of the reasons why I've influenced many of my friends to come into this environment, and through the years have also cultivated them to become the general managers, deputy chiefs, and training instructors, playing vital roles in different markets. It is because RIWAY is focused on nurturing leaders one by one throughout the years. If you ask me, RIWAY does have the ability to hire a manager and place him in the highest positions. RIWAY can do that. But no. It is the same reason as in the beginning. RIWAY could have built a group by buying these seasoned leaders from the industry, but boss chose not to. Because each and every one started from the bottom. Just like how I started from the executive position as well. And thankfully, be able to be in the position I am today. Big thanks to boss and Dr. Kenny for their unconditional leadership, continuously motivating me. But the more integral and important part of RIWAY is you, the leaders. Especially you leaders. If you look closely, especially at the people who have made money in RIWAY, these top leaders, you don't see that after they make a certain income, they are still more than willing to stay. The most importantly, RIWAY's management will continue to motivate you to worry that you might not be earning enough, worried that the car you drive is not big enough, worried that the house you stay is not big enough, to the extent to teach you how to do this business. If you don't know how, RIWAY will still continue to teach. To the point where you still don't know, RIWAY will help you to do it. A number of leaders will understand what I'm talking about. Can you find such a company out there? It's impossible. Do you know what this is called? Magnanimous. In other words, generous, forgiving, forbearing, to have a big heart. A group that will shrink and become smaller, it is often because the leader of the group doesn't have a big heart, unable to accept and accommodate a bigger number of people. As it has been mentioned throughout this training seminar, we are in the people industry. Therefore, between people, there will be friction. There will be misunderstandings. There will be unhappiness. It is inevitable. But no matter how hard you rub, it will not hurt. Only hit. However, if there is a tiny cut on the hand, just a very tiny wound, even with the slightest friction, it will cause the wound to hurt very badly. Take for example, if two friends had a big argument and disagreement, it might result in them not working together or talking to each other. It's like a small cut. Once there's slight friction, it might cause pain. That wound has to heal. It has to cover up. It has to be solved in order to continue to work together. How? Be the magnanimous one. Take the first step. It is the simplest of words, but oftentimes most difficult to say. Words like, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Such a simple gesture can often work 1,000 wonders. You see, if your heart is big, if it is able to accommodate a certain kind of people, throughout the world, there are many people who are similar. The more you can accommodate, the more opportunity you have to succeed. And if you are able to accept this kind of people, your group will be able to accommodate them, resulting in growth. If you can accept a second kind of people, similarly, the same will happen. So don't let it be because of your small heart that stop your group from growth. Don't let it be because he or she is incapable, so you don't want them. Learn to be lenient to others, but be tougher on yourself. Don't expect others to learn how to do certain things first, and make sure you are the one who is most qualified. Like how RIWAY cultivates leaders into what they are today. Today, the next reason why RIWAY is constantly expanding, it is because it is leader-centered. It is distributor-centered. RIWAY has always put you leaders at the heart of everything we do. Every part of this business boils down to the leaders. You see, the sales turnover that you achieve generates your income. That is your money, correct? Yes. I can agree that it is your money. But the turnover that RIWAY has is not boss money. If you know boss personally, he is one of the most selfless person that I know. If boss doesn't think that the money that RIWAY earns is his, then whose is it? He has mentioned before that it is for the collective good. You might wonder, what do I mean by the collective good? It basically means for the organization, for the group. Who is the group? Who are the leaders? In other words, it is each and every one of you. Which means to say that the money that is earned is put back into the group to create more selling points, to help each and every one of you create bigger sales, and earn more money, have a bigger income. This is a kind of virtuous cycle which can't be found anywhere else. As mentioned by a few speakers today, from the improvement of the product, without a doubt, there is definitely a price to pay, not only monetary wise. Organizing multiple large-scale events almost every single month without stopping, hoping that by doing this, you will be able to leverage from it and borrow the biggest strength possible for your group to grow, for you to have a bigger income. Is there really a need to do this? Boss always says that we should always invest in people, invest in your own group, invest in your leaders, and by continuously doing this, it is to set an example for each and every one of us to follow. It isn't because I am part of RIWAY, that is why I'm sharing this and saying how good RIWAY is. I'm sharing this with you because I too have experienced and seen this side of RIWAY, from a staff's perspective, from a general manager's perspective, and I believe those who know RIWAY have experienced this as well and know clearly what I'm talking about. Even though I've been in RIWAY for 8 years, I don't think I have attained the level to be as people-centered as RIWAY has shown. But I am thinking, if I'm not learning and cooperating with RIWAY, where else can I do this? Where else can I find such an environment that continuously reminds me to better myself as a true leader? I hope that through my perspective today, we are all able to reach a conclusion and similar belief in RIWAY. Thank you for attending the first leadership training seminar of the first quarter of 2021, 6 Principles of an Outstanding Leader. I hope that it has been a fulfilling and enriching experience for you today. With this, I conclude today's training seminar, wishing all of you good health, good fortune, and an advanced Chinese New Year to all. Thank you very much.